Here we go. Short A says A, long A says A. Every letter makes a sound. Short A says A, long A says A. B says B, B says B. Every letter makes a sound. B says B. C says K, C says K. Every letter makes a sound. C says K. D says D, D says D. Every letter makes a sound. D says D. Short E says E, long E says E, silent E says. Every letter makes a sound. Short E says E, long E says E, silent E says.
Every letter makes a sound.
F says F says. Every letter makes a sound. F says.
Every letter makes
G says G, G says G. Every letter makes a sound. G says G. H says H says. Every letter makes a sound. H says. Short I says I, long I says I. Every letter makes a sound. Short I says I, long I says I. Jump, 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 do the jingle, jingle jacket. Jump, 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 do the jingle, jingle jacket. Whenever I jump, my jacket jingle, jingles. Whenever I stop. J says J, J says J. Every letter makes a sound. J says J. K says K, K says K. Every letter makes a sound. K says K. L says O, L says O. Every letter makes a sound. L says O. M says M says every letter makes a sound. M says N says N says every letter makes a sound. N says Short O says ah, long O says oh. Two O's say ooh, two O's say Every letter makes a sound. Short O says ah, long O says oh. Two O's say ooh, two O's say A P says P, a P says P. Every letter makes a sound. A P says P. Every letter makes a sound. A P says P. Q says qua, Q says qua. Every letter makes a sound. Q says qua. R says R says Every letter makes a sound. R says S says S says Every letter makes a sound. S says
That was upside down.
T says T says Every letter makes a sound. T says U says and U says U. Every letter makes a sound. Short U says long U says U. V says V says Every letter makes a sound. V says W says W. W says W. Every letter makes a sound. W says W. X says X. X says X. Every letter makes a sound. X says X. Y says ya or Y I, or Y says E. Every letter makes a sound. Y says ya, or I, or E. Z says Z. Z says Z. Every letter makes a sound. Z says Z. All right, so we're going to do something real quick here. Let me get my board, and I want you guys to sign 2 words for me. You ready? Oh, that's a bad T. Let's use your signs. Are you ready? I know you can read it already. Let's sign it. Are you ready? At. What's the word? Cat. All right, so we're going to change the C, and we're going to put this letter on. What's the sign for this letter? Show me the sign for this letter. B. Are you ready? Let's sign it together. B. At. What's the word? Oh my gosh, we're going to change this letter again.